Hello, my public service announcement is over mental health stigma. First is define the problem. Extent. Millions of people are affected each year due to untreated mental illness, fear of stigma, social avoidance, workplace stigma, lack of help from family. The factors that contribute to this problem are the misinformation about mental health conditions and the view that having a mental disorder or seeking help is a sign of weakness. To understand the major characteristics of the problem, it is important to know what is mental health stigma. Negative attitudes, beliefs, and stereotypes people may hold towards those who experience mental health conditions. Mental health stigma affects nearly 60 million people who have experienced a mental illness in the past year in the United States alone. Different types of stigma revolving mental health include public stigma, self-stigma, and structural stigma. Other characteristics include negative stereotypes, labeling, social isolation, discrimination, and reluctance to seek help. Who does this problem impact the most? Individuals with certain mental illnesses, family members of people with mental illnesses, healthcare professionals, and society. Who it impacts the least? According to current research, individuals experiencing mental health conditions like depression, generalized anxiety disorder, and obsessive compulsive disorder tend to face the least amount of stigma compared to those with diagnoses like schizophrenia, borderline personality disorder, or antisocial personality disorder, which are generally considered more stigmatized. Next, analyze the problem. Why should you care? The social stigma and discrimination people experience because of their mental illness can make their problems worse, making it harder to recover. Additionally, it can cause someone to avoid getting the help they need because of the fear of being stigmatized. Discrimination, stigmatization of people with mental health illnesses can lead to feelings of hopelessness and shame. This all creates a barrier to diagnosis and treatment. Structures, institutions, and ideologies that create and perpetrate the problem include stigma happens from a lack of understanding of mental illness through ignorance and misinformation. It also occurs because some people have negative attitudes or beliefs towards mental health. Mental health stigma operates in society, is internalized by individuals, and is attributed by health professionals. Pharmacy students who desire more social distance towards individuals with schizophrenia are also less willing to produce them with medication counseling, for example. Policies of government and private organizations that intentionally or unintentionally limit opportunities for people with mental health illnesses can perpetrate the problem by lower funding for mental illness research or fewer mental health services relative to other healthcare. Try to solve this issue. Public awareness campaigns, trying to normalize conversations about mental health and encourage individuals to seek help without fear of judgment. Education initiatives, programs in schools, workplaces, and community settings to teach about mental health, symptoms, and treatment options. Policy and workplace changes, increased availability of mental health resources, employee assistance programs, and anti-discrimination laws. Why they don't fully address the issue: 1. Superficial awareness without deeper understanding. Campaigns often raise awareness but fail to change deeply rooted cultural beliefs or systemic barriers. Stigma persists in the form of subtle biases such as labeling individuals as weak or unreliable. 2. Misrepresentation in media. Media often portrays mental illness inaccurately or sensationalizes extreme cases, perpetrating stereotypes. And 3. Overemphasis on individual responsibility. Campaigns sometimes place the focus on individuals to speak up without addressing systemic issues like lack of support networks or insurance barriers. Lastly, moving on to solutions. Steps needed to be taken to fix or properly address this issue include 1. Intersectional approaches, tailor initiatives to meet the needs of diverse communities, systemic changes, improve access to quality, affordable care, and integrate mental health into general health systems. 3. Prolonged community engagement. Engage with schools, workplaces, and communities to create lasting cultural change. 4. Combat implicit biases. Train healthcare providers, educators, and employers to recognize and address unconscious bias towards mental health issues. Cities, states, countries that are effectively solving this issue. 1. San Francisco, California. Programs like Mental Health SF aim to provide universal access to mental health care, especially for underserved populations. New York. Thrive New York City, a New York City program designed to make mental health care accessible and reduce stigma through public awareness campaigns. Australia. Campaigns like Beyond Blue and Are You OK? These work effectively because it is widespread public participation and targeted outreach for rural and indigenous populations. Risks and trade-offs. Increased demand on an overburdened mental health system. As stigma decreases, more people may seek help, which could overwhelm already underfunded and understaffed mental health services. Stigma shift. Efforts to normalize mental health might reduce stigma for common issues like anxiety or depression, but leave conditions such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, or personality disorders heavily stigmatized. Lack of focus on systemic issues. Campaigns focused on reducing stigma may shift responsibility onto individuals to speak up while ignoring systemic barriers like poverty, inequality, and racism that contribute to poor mental health. And lastly, conclusion. Breaking the stigma around mental health is more than a conversation, it's a call to action. By fostering understanding, advocating for systemic change, and showing compassion, we can create a world where no one suffers in silence. Together, let's end the stigma and build a community where mental health is treated with the care and dignity it deserves. And lastly, here's my works cited page. Thank you.